initiated a Ipsos Reid survey about a year ago where we asked these two questions, is that what percentage of the Canadian Muslim community would prefer halal meat over conventional meat, and the number was 75%. And the second question we asked is that what percent would prefer Sharia compliant products versus conventional, and the number was 47%. So this shows that even though there's limited products and the pricing is high, yet you have today the 1 million Muslim community, if they were provided an alternative, they would be ready to switch over. So education is key, but I think a direct approach and bringing the competitive products will really educate the masses.
Okay, and with that, we're going to take our morning break and refreshments. Did you have, was it a quick question?
Yeah.
Yes, if you got to identify who you are and where you're from.
Hi, Andrzej Kubowski from Qatar Islamic Bank. I had just a quick question regarding distribution of products and legal and regulatory issues if you guys have encountered when coming out with the products. And what would be of my interest would be any specific issues that would be that you have came across for the province of Quebec, if you have.
Yeah, I'll take that. So in the United States, the regulatory environment is difficult for Islamic finance because if you're dealing with the retail consumer, you have to not only comply with the U.S. laws and the banking regulations, which are many. I think the last count 13,000. And of course, every time Congress passes multi-thousand page laws, many more. And in addition, you have to comply with the consumer protection laws of each individual state. So, I can assure you that Tom has the many battle scars, having personally altered the basic Musharaka contracts that guidance uses for the residential product into how many states now, Tom? 40?
Quite something, maybe less than that.
So many that he's forgotten.
Well, yeah, say 35. Let's say 35 states, right? But as Tom would point out, that maybe he had, say, contracts in a certain state, but then the rules changed again in the last 12 months, and now he has to withdraw the product, right? So, and the pace of regulatory change right now is scary, I would say.
Licensing, even things that don't relate to
right.
Islamic,
not even the product. So
you
have to have your individual people licensed, take a test, to sell a single Islamic contract, say in Missouri. How many people are in Missouri? Some, but do you really want to have your people take the test, study for the test, and then pass the test? Obviously, it's critical to pass the test. So there's this very heavy, we call it in our bank, research and development cost of making your basic product compliant for each individual state. Now, in England, for example, you have countrywide regulations, very easy, right? In Canada and Toronto, you have Ontario provincial-wide regulations, very easy, very large market. But the United States market is extremely fragmented into, let's say, 30 states. So, to reach the market, you have to have this intense state-by-state compliance work, and it's very expensive. Second thing I would say is the structure of the banking industry in the United States is such that with 8,300 banks and 10,000 credit unions, you have many vendors who specialize in providing products to us as vendors. But if there isn't a sufficiently large market, the vendors won't customize the products or provide the products. So, for example, guidance has had issues where they can or cannot get a vendor to customize the product, even though they're the largest in the industry, right? And you can't build these products from scratch because the cost of being in that business is too high. So one of the advantages that my bank had in entering some of these lines of business is that we were vertically integrated, and actually one of the only 20 banks in the country that serviced our own residential home contracts. So we could, have our own programmers alter our own code to do this, but that's because we have $8 billion of contracts that we service. So it's not just for the Islamic. I mean, if we didn't have that line of business we're in, we could not have launched an Islamically compliant residential contract and then service. I mean, we might close it, but not be able to service it after the sale compliantly. So those are two major issues: the structure in the industry with the vendors, and the state-by-state regulation, which is very, the system's broken in the United States.
Well, unfortunately, with that, we're out of time. So if you don't mind asking your question privately, we're going to have the morning break and refreshments sponsored by Guidance Financial, and we're going to resume with a Shariah Scholars Roundtable at 10:45.